Do you have questions?
I have lots of questions. You know where I go for all my questions?
Where?
Especially paintball questions?
Where?
I go to the Ask Us Anything Facebook group, and I ask us.
You ask us?
I ask us.
You're going to answer your own questions?
I am. Well, okay. I don't, because I know everything about paintball. That's why we're here to answer the questions. But if I had questions about them, I wouldn't waste my time in some random comments or posting on some message board somewhere where nobody pays attention. I would go to Ask Us Anything Lone Wolf Paintball on Facebook and wait for these guys to take 2 months to respond to me.
Where's the other one at? Oh, it's these guys.
These guys.
Oh, okay. So we're answering your questions. We're going to see, I don't know, we might have a few. We might have a lot. So we'll find out.
Let's find out. Let's see. The first one is Will McVey says, I'm thinking about putting a GoPro on my mask or marker, but I don't know where to start and what I need to mount it to my i5. Any suggestions would be helpful, and I'm primarily a woods ball player, but this spring I plan to try out speedball at 36 years old. Am I nuts? Make sure you have really good knee pads, because at 36 years old, you're going to hurt your knees more than any 20-something.
100%.
Is number one.
Elbow pads too. So speedball at 36 years old.
Make sure you stretch. Make sure you do your legs up, and I can't even do it.
You got it.
Because I'm beyond 36.
Well,
GoPro,
he wants to put a GoPro. The i5 goggle already comes with a mount. If you got it used or lost that mount many years ago, you can reach out to us or Die, and you can actually buy the GoPro mount separate. Or for you've put GoPros on your mask before. What did you use?
I've put GoPros everywhere. Yeah. So depending on the GoPro you have, if you have the small sessions, I've seen guys actually even stick them in the mask, like right in where your eye is, and it sits on your nose and it hurts, but it fits. There are multiple mounts, bicycle handle mounts from GoPros, but I think HK makes one specifically for barrels now that can go on your barrel and keep it kind of back near your hopper, so you get that cool shot of the barrel and where it's aiming. But yeah, there's different mounts to go on top of the mask and the ridges.
I think even Exalt makes like a universal one, and HK, like Mark said, also makes one.
And then a lot of guys do make their own 3D printed ones. Just search for goggle mount for, on our website for the official ones. But there's plenty of sources. I recommend the real ones because they're usually made out of aluminum and they're going to take up a little more durability than a 3D printed plastic one. But I don't know what your budget is either. But the i5 mount, why am I blanking? It's not the traditional GoPro mount. It's a threaded screw that goes in the ear or the side of the mask. So you have to still use the normal GoPro mount to screw on. We call it a GoPro mount just because they were the first sports, but it's made to adapt for many different kinds of cameras.
So you got plenty of options out there, Will. Either search our site or go to Die or wherever you need to. But you can definitely get that on the mask or on the barrel.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but keep in mind where you're heavy, it's going to different. If it's on the marker, it's where the marker's pointed. So you're going to have lots of footage of it pointing down and behind bunkers, and it's kind of boring. If it's on the mask, it's either going to be sticking up slightly above your forehead or at forehead level. So it's always going to be a little off. And if it's on the side of your mask, sometimes depending on which way you hold your marker, you're looking at the back of your hopper. So there's pluses and minuses to all of them. I recommend doing all of it, both sides of the mask, the top of the mask, and on the barrel, just so you make sure you have plenty of coverage. And if you got enough, put one on the back strap pointing the other direction so you can see who's sneaking up.
So buy all the GoPros. Buy them all.
Fun. Next up, Robert Wilkinson II.
What is up, Tony and Mark from Lone Wolf Paintball? What's the best way to strip off paint this bubbed up Galaxy painted WDP trilogy? My friend gave it to me when he bought a CS3, and I'm looking to get the paint off without damaging the anodizing underneath. Thanks, Robert.
Well, one, that's an epic paint job, but it's kind of a bummer if it's bubbling.
It's intergalactic.
Intergalactic planetary.
That's right. Paint thinner, huh?
So, yeah, paint thinner works. So you did the first thing. Get everything taken apart. Because what you're going to use on the paint is corrosive at a certain level, and you don't want it to fall on your O-rings. You don't want it to get into any of the moving parts where it could eventually cause a problem or is troublesome to wipe off. But yeah, any traditional paint thinner should work without harming the ano. I would do it carefully and delicately and test the sample first just to make sure, because we are not held liable if you take our advice and it turns out to screw something up. But you should be fine. I asked our tech guy, and he said, no. It's like any paint stripper would work. Just be careful not to get it anywhere that you don't want it because there isn't paint to begin with. Like it would probably eat an O-ring without any trouble.
Oh,
it would eat a rubber hose.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens to paint thinner when it dries in some place that's supposed to be moving. So make sure it's only on the stuff that you want to strip. Don't use anything abrasive like sandpaper or a sand blast or a bead blaster because that will, you're literally scouring.
Yeah, you're going to take away the actual anode that's underneath the paint that he put on top. Mm-hmm. So try paint thinner, like Mark said, do a small section, kind of see if that's working out your way.
Looks like you use some old carb cleaner, which, should work. As you've seen, the older the paint, be careful around the valve hose attachment.
Yeah, the three-way barbs. Yeah.
Because you don't want it to eat any of that.
Some old carb cleaner.
Yeah, old tricks, but just slow and careful.
Oh, he's got rebuild parts coming for it. So, yeah. Well, he found carb cleaner worked. Paint thinner would also work for you, too.
Yeah. I like the all-natural stuff myself. It's not so toxic, and it's usually okay to pour down the drain afterwards. Some of that stuff's really bad. It'll leach your drain and your plumbing in your house. So keep that in mind, too.
Right.
Brian South says, Tony, will an R2 speed feed fit on the LTR?
The R2 speed feed will not fit on the LTR.
Whole different mounting system.
Yep. So there's two separate. So definitely make sure you don't do that. And that was holy camole all the way back in near the end of July, huh?
Yep.
Hopefully you found the right speed feed.
I hope so. Well, I hope you didn't buy an R2 speed feed because those clip in. And the LTR, you got to take screws apart and pop whole things off.
Mm-hmm. We have videos on both of those. So
I know. If you guys posted more often, we could do these more often. But we're not going to do one for like one video. Sorry.
That'd be nice.
Robert's back says, "What up, Tony and Mark from Little Paintball? I'm looking to step up my mech marker from my OG Tipman 98, not a custom A98 from the real 90s. Been between an EMAC or an ETHA 3M. Should I get an EMAC and save the money building it out or go ETHA? The only advantage I see the ETHA is having an ease of bolt removal. I've been looking for a shocker CVO, but the lack of fairly priced ones are slim. I got an XLS that runs great, like the platform. We'll be posting on a Rate My Gear soon. What y'all's thoughts? Thanks from the RRW2 Gone Fishing on YouTube. Go check them out.
For that, I mean
Well, let me ask this: there was a good chunk for time the EMACs were really hard to keep in stock. Have we been able to maintain a healthy inventory of them now?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, they both are using the same core as well. So it's kind of like,
if you're gonna build it out, I would save the time and energy and just go right for the ETHA 3M to start.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna spend all the money unless you're a tinkerer guy. You're just like you really love doing it yourself. But most of the parts you're going to upgrade your EMAC to is to make it more like an ETHA 3M. So
correct.
I'd save the hassle.
So I guess we'll hit that just real quick. EMAC 100. What's your budget look like? If you got a little extra money to spend, I would go with the 3M for sure. Bolt removal and some of the upgraded parts already in there. If you want to start out small, the EMAC's a great shooting gun, and then you can throw in like a deadly wind valve or upgrade the barrel or whatever you want. But depends on your budget.
Same price,
and they're both really, really nice shooters. I mean, they're not going to cost you an arm and a leg straight out of the box. So if you got a little extra money, I would go with the ETHA 3M.
There you go. Willie says, I just got a new set of ETHA 3s, both mech and electronic, and I noticed they are air hungry compared to my ETHA 2. With the ETHA 2, I could shoot 12 to 14 pods before running on air. With the 3s, I can barely shoot 5 before running air. I need to just much air. Do I need to run a 4,500 tank? That seems like a lot less air than you should have.
100%. I barely shoot 5 before needing air. And is there a way to adjust how much air they are consuming? Yeah, that's definitely interesting. You could have a problem within your actual valve system. If this is still an issue, if you didn't get it figured out yet, give us a call at the shop here and talk to Caesar, the gun tech, and he'll be able to, kind of figure out what's going on there. For you to be able to shoot 5 pods and need air, that's crazy. It could be something within the actual valve system. So, and just also make sure, put it next to your ear and make sure you're not having leaks. There's no leaks anywhere. That sounds like a lot less pods than it should be getting.
Because I'm thinking we did an ETHA. Did we do an efficiency test on the Mac? I don't think we did on the Mac one.
Probably not the Mac.
But most modern, mid and high end electronic guns should be getting 8 to 9 pods without too much hassle.
Right.
Once you get past that, then it really depends. But I also find it hard to believe that the ETHA 2 got 12 to 14.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's a lot of pods.
If you see this and still have that question, like I said, give Caesar a call here at the Gun Tech, and he'll kind of walk you through what's going on with it. Mm-hmm. Just make sure, once again, it's not leaking, because that's definitely going to deplete your airflow. So,
Kevin Wang, what might the upcoming markers look like after the GO5? I know it's sleek, compact design, reminiscent of spool valve markers from the Shocker era. Ooh, speculation. What could it look like? The possibilities are endless.
I feel as if there's not much more. You got an R5 right there. Like, how much more are you going to be able to take off of that? They've got it pretty dialed into making it the most air efficient, plus being the lightest weight. So, I mean, really, there's not like a terrible amount you can really do. I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot of the, I mean, not to, throw it out there per se, but more kind of like the Lux body style and stuff like that. But overall, I mean, good Lord, there's not much more you can do with the milling and the actual looks of these markers.
Yeah, I mean, just because paintballs are the caliber they are, that kind of keeps a restraint to the body size from basically here forward no matter what, right? You can't make much smaller because it has to hold that ball and have enough. I mean, maybe they could find a way to make the bolts smaller and thinner and slim it down a little bit, and might be more reminiscent of like an LV. But I mean, yeah, I think we're pretty close to a size constraint until they completely like redesign the game somehow.
Yeah, I really don't see too much of a change. A lot of the body types, as you already see, between like the R5 and the CS3 and even like the Lux, like they're slim, they're streamlined, they're sleek. You really don't have much more meat you can take off of these aluminum bodies before you have leaks or just bigger problems. So,
and that's not unique to paintball guns. You think about even like real firearms.
Correct.
There's a reason they all have kind of a base size that they start at and get built up over, because the caliber of the rounds they're firing.
You can only do so much, man. That's where we're at. So I wouldn't see any of their newer guns going forward. I don't think you're going to be just like, wow, that looks so much different. I think we've kind of reached that plateau of we've taken it to pretty much where we can take it. And like Mark said, unless they find a way to really change the game overall. So that's what I got.
Things get smaller, technology gets better.
But dealing with air and pressure, like you can only take so much before you're going to run into some big problems. Luna.
I wonder why Exalt should have made front grips or grip sets to match the tank skull covers. It would look so, as they already have mask cleaners. All right,
I just have ideas for players to set up to look ag on the front. So I pretty much, Luna is saying, why don't they make like front grips and stuff to match like the Exalt tank grips?
Oh, they don't?
Just, I mean, I think Jonathan even put like here, because they used to make those. Or why even just Exalt? Why not these other companies? I mean, Planet Eclipse makes grip kits, and so does Shocker and stuff, but...
Because then Infamous wouldn't sell all their grip tape.
Oh, yeah, you do love the tape on the front.
You gotta tape it first, right?
Yeah, well, I mean...
It is an option. I think probably the difference is everybody's air tanks are generally the same size, right? Whether you have a peanut all the way up to an 80 cubic, right? That back end of the tank is pretty much universal, so they make that tank cover, and it's going to fit on a large variety of tanks. I don't care if it's a Ninja or a First Strike or Immortal Air or Infinite, whoever. But, everybody's front grips are a little different. Some are a little bit bigger, a little narrower, got a taper to them. So then they have to make them for each different marker.
Well, they had Exalt did make a universal one, but I mean, universal could, would only fit on certain markers per se. But
and some of
it's a good idea. I like that one. If they could actually, come out to making.
But some of these don't come off.
No, those are really hard. Yeah, they got that groove in there.
So you got to make a certain style to fit on this, and then it's a different one for the Geo, and it's a different one for the Lux.
It is a good point, though.
Yeah, it's just a lot of...
Yeah, right. Like, okay, I think she said, or he said, skull tank cover. Like, I want my front grip to have a skull on it, too, but, like, no, you got to make it for the era on the R5 and the CS3, and all the list goes on, but...
It would almost be easier to do for a barrel in general.
Yeah, like they used to make the barrel bands that would match. Yeah, they used to have neoprene, covers that would slide onto your barrel sleeve, so... Interesting.
Yeah.
Someone said, Jonathan, he wants to bring it back. Exalt should bring him back.
Bring them back.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
William wants you to go to CPX for Living Legends.
Yeah, that was way
back in May. Sorry.
That was way long ago.
And we're done.
All right, answering your questions, you guys. So you guys want to know anything? Start posting back in the group again so we can definitely get it done right away and not have to wait for less than 10 questions to answer. So if you guys have questions, either give us a call or go right to this page. Until then, shop the best, and the best is
LoneWolfPaintball.com, of course.
See you next time.
See you.